For as long as humans have existed, they have searched for answers. Some people answer questions with science or religion. Occasionally, the accepted answers are not good enough, so some search for a more radical solution. Heaven's Gate was one of those radical solutions. Heaven's Gate was a cult founded by Marshall Applewhite that believed that God piloted a UFO and whose members famously committed ritualistic suicide in 1997. Heaven's Gate had many beliefs that confused people. They believed in the Christian God, but thought he was an alien that lived in a physical heaven, complete with spaceships. They thought that God was waiting for them behind a comet called Hale-Bopp, in a spaceship that was ready to take them away. To be taken away, it was thought you had to transcend to the next level, which was done by removing all things that made someone human, including emotions, relationships, sexual desire, and possibly even your physical body. This last item is what led them to all kill themselves, which they actually viewed as a successful ascension to the next plane of existence. This UFO-inspired religion was started by the son of a Texan preacher named Marshall Applewhite. He grew up well respected in his community and worked as a music professor. Applewhite was a gay man, though, and began to have an identity crisis as no one accepted him, including himself. He was fired as a professor for having an affair with a male student. He divorced his wife, left his children, and checked himself into a mental hospital. Here he met a nurse, his partner who inspired the creation of Heaven's Gate, Bonnie Lou Nettles. Marshall and Bonnie renamed themselves Bo and Peep after getting identical androgynous haircuts, and began to preach their gospel across the country. Gaining a few followers, the duo had new recruits engaged in something they called the process. This process entailed putting people in pairs doing one of four things: communicating with those already on the next level or in space, overcoming their human attachments to reach that next level, working jobs to create a small income for the group, or moving between congregations looking for new converts, which worked surprisingly well for them, with one pair converting almost 50 people at one time. Not everything went well, though, as Applewhite several times promised that they were about to be taken to the next level, which obviously was never the case. Another less pleasant aspect was his strict repression of humanness to achieve success at the next level. During the process, people were paired with others specifically chosen so as not to form a close relationship between them. Members were encouraged to cut off their family members and never speak to them again. Sometimes Bo and Peep would impose something known as tomb time, during which members could not speak to each other for days on end. All sexual urges were also repressed under Applewhite. At one point, 8 men in the cult, including Applewhite, submitted to castration. After about 20 years and several failed prophecies, Applewhite was certain that to ascend to the next level, all of the members would have to leave their physical bodies behind. With the Hale-Bopp comet passing over, Applewhite was determined to meet God. So, on March 24, 1997, members of the cult began a ritualistic suicide. Each member drank a cup of apple juice with sleeping medication and poison. Every single member of the group wore the same baggy jacket and Nike shoes, with a purple cloth draped over their heads, ready to meet their maker. After several days of death, 41 people in total were dead. They did not fly away in a spaceship, but instead left behind many families, a confused public, and a video with their last words. The key ingredient to create a cult-like environment like this is isolation. This is because cult leaders need their followers to fear them and take their word as law to thrive. With information so readily available, it is easy to believe organizations like this one no longer exist because it is so much harder to remain isolated. But this is not the case. In fact, even some members of Heaven's Gate still exist. Over 20 years after the suicide, there are still people paying to keep the official Heaven's Gate website available for all the world to see.
We'll title this tape Planet Earth About to be Recycled. Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us.